Hey there, my creative friend. So, we are going to jump into a lesson, but we're going to get down into the foreground. I typically am up in the sky, but let's get down to the foreground. I never get much of an opportunity to take people through the foregrounds. There's never enough time, but I push for these really broad strokes of paint, just laying it in there thick. You can see me using a Rosemary Ultimate Long Bright here. And I like to just grab thick paint. I'm using some ochre tones and raw sienna and lay it in there. And it takes a bit of time just to get this going. But lay it in there and soften as you go. Change the temperatures, change the value, change color, and just start working on your ground. Layering. There, I brought a dark in over the top of that. Now, I'm going to want this road or pathway to be one of the lighter values. So I come in and start laying in, again, thick, broad strokes. I did lay in cooler strokes way back in the distance, but just to start getting that value there. Still a lot of edge work to be done, but just getting some paint. That's part of the problem, is people don't get enough paint to work with. Pulling that very important air color in a darker value down into the shadow of the trees, that helps create color harmony. Back again, there's several layers that go into this, revisiting each area. Using a small rigger brush and doing this is where, right up close, I like to just tweak things out and do some detail with a small rigger brush and pulling those upward strokes to represent the lines of bushes and weeds, and then different, you could this is like just some little highlights on whatever those are, thistles or some kind of weeds in the foreground, some kind of brush. But you could be doing daisies, you could be doing different flowers. It's right up close in the very front foreground. This is just so fun to do, and you add that other dimension to your work. There's just been a lot of softening. Obviously, I've just done this in bits and pieces for you in the filming process. I'm sure that there was, an hour or two longer that actually took place. But I just kept coming back and forth, adding more, getting rid of some, just whatever works, then work over it. Do it that way. You can see I just keep adding it in there. Coming back, tweaking the trees, I'm pulling in some sky holes to work some shapes around the outer edges. Softening, more softening, lots of softening happens in these foregrounds. You might lay those really broad, expressive brush strokes, but then you have an opportunity to go back and do as much softening as you want. But like I said earlier, most students will not lay the paint on there. They just won't give them a good foundation of paint to work with. So then when they go back to soften, they're just rubbing their paint into the canvas and licking the canvas, opposed to maneuvering some beautiful thick paint. We're working in oils. Enjoy the luxurious medium for what it has, that characteristic of being able to lay frosting on and move it around. That's my favorite thing about oils. All right, I hope that this is helping you think about your foregrounds. You can see in this picture some of the detail after it was finished, a little bit warmer tones brought in, and lots of softening. And those trees were maneuvered. Some were pushed back with lighter values, others brought up darker just to bring more dimension. All right, my friend, stay at the easel, keep practicing. That's the key. But my favorite motto is always enjoy the journey. And hey, have a cup of coffee too. Ciao.